Hi Year Ones, it's Miss Hocking here and welcome back to your English learning for this week. Now this week we are going to be focusing on something quite new. However, last week we were thinking about fiction and non-fiction texts and the differences between them and the similarities. Now I want you to keep that in your brains this week as we are working, because we're going to come back to that next week. We're going to combine all of that knowledge and all of the knowledge that we learned this week, ready for our own piece of non-chronological text next week. So that's very exciting. But until then, we're going to be focusing on different punctuation and different grammatical features this week, and you'll understand what that means, hopefully, by the end of today's session. Okay, so we're going to focus in on punctuation first of all. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about what punctuation actually is. Okay, so punctuation is something that goes in between lots of different words and lots of different sentences to make sure that they are able to be read by whoever is reading them. Okay, so I'm going to go into that a little bit more. However, I want you to repeat after me because I want you to have had experience of saying this word. It's quite a long word, isn't it? So the word is punctuation. I say punctuation. You say lovely. And together, punctuation. Good. And we have punctuation marks that go, in this case, at the end of our sentence. Okay, so there's a punctuation mark at the end of this sentence. Oh, it's one that we haven't looked at before. It's this one here. We're going to find out what that is today. Now, I have got some sentences here. I'm going to read it out to you. It says, Jack had a pony called Bill. Every morning, Jack gave Bill a carrot. And at the end of each of these sentences, there's two sentences, there is a piece of punctuation. Do you know what it is called? There's one here and there's one here. What's it called? It's called a full stop. Good job. Why do we use full stops? Tell your talk partner. Pause me if you need to. Excellent. Now we use our full stops to make sure that the reader knows to stop and take a breath before they move on to the next sentence. Otherwise, it would sound like this. Jack had a pony called Bill. Every morning, Jack gave Bill a carrot. Oh, gosh. And if that was in a really long set of words in a really big chapter book, then we wouldn't know what was going on at all. We'd get very confused. So we're going to learn about not full stops today. We're going to learn about these things over here. And this is called a question mark, okay? So let's have a look at how to draw a question mark. Now you can see this question mark here and this question mark here are quite curly. So let me have a practice. These are quite curly here. But what I want you to do is more like this question mark here. I apologise, my mouse is not great. Because this one goes around, it's a really lovely curve, then it's got a straight line down here before it's got its dot at the bottom. So it's like a full stop, but with a curly hat on. Okay, and we start drawing our question mark at the top here, like it's a capital letter. We go down and down and full stop, and it goes just on the line or just above the line, just like our full stops normally do. So we start up where we were with a capital letter, down. Good. And your first task of today is to pause the screen, and I want you to have a practice at drawing lots and lots of question marks. Now, I think you can do a better job than I can of making sure that they all look very similar, so they're all very uniformed. Oh, that one was really quite bad. I'm going to put one line through that because that is too far in the air, and I will keep practicing along here. Okay. When you have done 2 lines worth, unpause the video and come back to me. If you want to have a go with your magic finger first, that's a really good idea for those children who are in my phonics group or who find their writing a bit tricky. Have a go on the screen first, tracing round my question mark over here. I will get rid of this for you so you can have a go at tracing over this just with your magic finger, no ink, just the tip of your finger. Okay, so let's move on then. Next, we are going to play a game with your talk partner. Now, my game is all about animals, okay? And what you need to do is guess the animal. So, I have uploaded a video of myself and my friend Jake that I live with. I've uploaded a video of us playing this game. What you need to do, one partner thinks of an animal, the other partner has to ask questions about maybe these things, maybe about different things, to guess what their animal is, and then you can swap over. The big important thing is you're asking questions and they are giving you an answer. It's really important to understand the difference between a question and an answer. Once you're happy that we understand that, we can move on. And this is what we are moving on to. What I want you to do is have a little look at what punctuation you can see in this sentence here. There is a punctuation mark somewhere. Can you point out where it is? Well done. It's over here, isn't it? And what's it called? It's called a question mark. Tell your talk partner, what's it called? A. Good. Why do we use a question mark? We've just been asking loads of questions in our game. We use a question mark so that whoever is reading or whoever is answering knows that they need to give an answer. So it goes at the end of our sentence and it makes us say a sentence in a different way. So, for instance, my voice goes up when I ask a question. This is a question here, which I might be asking maybe Mrs. Sweeney in class. Do you know where Mr. Bone is? Now, you can hear my voice goes like this. Do you know where Mr. Bone is? And it goes up at the end when I come to my question mark. If it didn't have a question mark, it might sound like this. Do you know where Mr. Bone is? Which just sounds a bit funny, doesn't it? Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question now, and I want you to tell your talk partner the answer. So I'm asking you the question, and you are giving me the answer. Obviously, I'm not going to hear you, but you can tell your talk partner. What was your favourite bit of your weekend? Pause now and tell your talk partner your answer. Okay, now for the next part of our session, I want you to spot whether this is a question or a statement. Well, now we're going to learn tomorrow about what a statement is, but for now, I want you to just focus on, is it a question? So have a look at this. It says, Kane is going to the fair. Is it a question? No, it is not, because there is no question mark. So we know it is not a question. Oh, have a look at this one. Can you help me find my pencil crayons? Is it a question or not? Yes, it is. Well done. Now feel free to pause me after these. I'm going quite quickly. Here we go. There is your brother. Is it a question or not? When can we see Grandpa? Well done. It was a question. There is a question mark. Where is my coat? Is it a question or not? Yes, it is. Well done. Okay, so you might have noticed with some of our questions, there are some specific words at the beginning of them which help us determine if they're a question or not. They help us decide if they're a question or not. So let's have a look here. Oh, look, this word is in a different colour. It says, where is my coat? And let's go back again. Oh, look, this one says, when can we see Grandpa? And there are some certain words which go at the beginning of sentences quite often, which mean that they have to be a sentence. Now, if these words are at the front of a sentence, we know that it is a question sentence. We have got why. These also happen to be some of our tricky words. Why, when, who, where, and how. If any of these sentences are at the beginning of a sentence, any of these words, sorry, are at the beginning of a sentence, we know that those sentences have to be questions, okay? Because these are question starters. What are they? They are question starters. Well done. So, our task for today then. What I want you to do is have a look at our question starters. I want you to imagine that you are interviewing your favourite character or your favourite person or your favourite teacher. So for a moment, have a think about that, who that might be. When you're ready, I want you to think about lots of different questions that you would like to ask that person that begin with these words. I want you to think of one question per word. Why, when, how, who, or where. Now, these are all question starters, which means that our questions do not have yes or no answers. If I ask a question, why does it rain? You can't say yes or no to that question, Okay, and that's why we use these when we are writing questions, because we want the answers to be interesting, not just yes or no answers. I want them to also have some excitement about them. Okay, so I want you to write a question for each question starter that you would ask your favourite character, person or teacher if you got the chance to. Now, if it's for a teacher, maybe you will get the chance to. So, for instance, if I was asking a question to Mrs. Sweeney, she is my favourite teacher. And I would ask, I'm going to first of all choose who. So the question that I'm going to ask her is, who do you live with? Okay, just one for each of these. Now, as an optional extra, if you want to, you may like to get someone to ask you your questions, and you can pretend to be your favourite character, person or teacher and make up the answers that they might say, like a really fun interview. Okay, so that is your work for today. I hope you have a lovely time. There is no worksheets today. I just want you to write this out in your workbooks, okay? Make sure you send me a picture. If you end up doing the interview thing, you could send me a video or you could send me a photo. I'd love to do that too. Now have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow for some more English learning. Bye!